Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I stand, Mr. Speaker, in support of the motion to borrow US $102,128,294 from the Export-Import Bank of the Republic of China, Taiwan. Mr. Speaker, I support this motion because I understand that this money is to support the budget. The budget which was passed 8 months ago. I support this motion, Mr. Speaker, because I trust this Minister for Finance, and I am confident that this Minister for Finance will guard the interests of the people of St. Lucia. Mr. Speaker, I am confident that the 277 million EC dollars will be spent well, because between the time we were placed here by the people of St. Lucia and now, the Minister for Finance has handled the job of stopping the decline in this economy and at the same time providing investments in our social sector and in our communities very, very well. The job of stemming the slide and at the same time ensuring that our people in the communities, Mr. Speaker, that the people of St. Lucia get some cushion from the rough times. He has handled his job very well. Mr. Speaker, let us recall what happened in 2019, even before the COVID-19 pandemic. Let us recall, Mr. Speaker, that the growth rate of this country slowed in 2019, Mr. Speaker. And again, that was before COVID-19. I wish at this time, Mr. Speaker, to just take a moment to thank the Republic of China, Taiwan. Thank them for the partnership, Mr. Speaker, at a time when there is hardship all around the world, at a time when it is difficult for many countries who are our traditional friends, Mr. Speaker, who assisted us in difficult times. They too are having their own difficulties as a result of the challenges which were posed by COVID-19, but also as a result of so many challenges, the Ukraine-Russia war and so on, Mr. Speaker. For our traditional friends, it's been very challenging. And for the Republic of China, Taiwan, to continue to assist us in this way, I think is commendable, and we want to thank them. I want to thank Ambassador Chen, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank the Ambassador Chen, for his leadership. And just recently, Prime Minister spent some time in Taiwan, and I am sure at some point, Mr. Speaker, he will explain to you how he had a great time in Taiwan. So I want to really thank the government of Taiwan for their support. So, Mr. Speaker, this motion is also about confidence. It's about confidence, Mr. Speaker. Of course, there are challenges. Look at the challenges which we are having with violent crime. Look at the challenges in the economy. Look at the challenges with food prices and the challenges with the price of fuel and so on. There are challenges, Mr. Speaker. We knew that when we got into government. We knew the challenges which we would endure because of the wastage of the last government. The people knew that, Mr. Speaker. But you know what, Mr. Speaker? We have the resolve to endure. We have the resolve to work with the people of St. Lucia and to endure. It is not easy. We know it is not easy. And so when we come to this parliament to seek the authority of the parliament for this loan, my colleagues before me explained to you, Mr. Speaker, and explained to the House how this loan will finance the budget and how the benefits of the budget would accrue to our constituencies and to the people of St. Lucia in general. And Mr. Speaker, I know for the constituency of VA4 North, there are several initiatives from last year's budget which will benefit our constituency. But I just want, Mr. Speaker, to very quickly tell you why I am confident. I'm confident because on the 26th of April 2022, just 8 months ago, this Minister for Finance, the Member of Parliament for Castries East, and our Prime Minister presented a budget to the people of St. Lucia. In his budget address, he highlighted a number of initiatives, and also he highlighted what the government would do to continue some of the projects which we found. And if you just very quickly, Mr. Speaker, go to page 17 of the Prime Minister's budget address, the Prime Minister indicated, for example, let us go even before page 17. I want to start on page 13, Mr. Speaker. And the Prime Minister spoke about the challenges which we found. The challenges of the slowing economic growth rate, the challenges of poverty, the fiscal challenges. And I have said before in this House, Mr. Speaker, that when the former Prime Minister became Minister for Finance, he found an excellent example of how to deal with the budget deficit. He found an excellent example. The budget deficit went down to 1.3% of GDP. But, Mr. Speaker, what happened after that? A ballooning of the budget deficit. And this Minister for Finance now, in his budget address on page 13, indicated the challenges. But what did he say? Between pages 13 and 21, Mr. Speaker, he indicated what we would do as a government to face those challenges. He indicated that he would set up an economy for the youth. And he spoke about the youth economy. What is the update on this? The update is, Mr. Speaker, we have come to Parliament and formed the Youth Economy Agency. So work is progressing on this 8 months after the Prime Minister's statement. If you go to page 17 of the budget address, the Prime Minister spoke about the Millennium Highway. And we know there were several challenges with the Millennium Highway. Obviously, the work on the Millennium Highway was slowed, and we see some progress now. Not as much progress as we want, Mr. Speaker. We believe by now there should be a lot more work on the Millennium Highway. But there is some progress there, and I know the Minister for Infrastructure and the Prime Minister are doing their best to ensure that the contractor hurries up to do the good work which the people of St. Lucia are waiting for on the Millennium Highway. The Grosley Highway and Secondary Road Improvement Project. We remember what happened with the last government. And I can tell you, Mr. Speaker, there is progress on this. Discussions with the QATs. The Viewfort Water Supply Project, which was started under the last Labour Party government. And there are major advances there. And I must segue a bit to say, Mr. Speaker, that on this project, I am having active discussions with WASCO so that the people of Bellevue and Pierrot in Vieux-Fort North can benefit from this project with a water line coming from the Grace side to go, a treated water line to go to the Pierrot and the Bellevue side. The Hiwanura International Airport Redevelopment Project. We have reported before that a committee was formed and reports have been submitted and work is ongoing. An announcement, I am sure, will be made very soon. On page 22 of the Prime Minister's address, in April, he spoke about the St. Jude Hospital Rehabilitation Project. You know what has happened with the St. Jude Hospital Rehabilitation Project. Work has started since November 1st, and work is ongoing. If you continue to look at the Prime Minister's address, you can go to page 27, private sector construction in tourism. There are several initiatives in tourism, Mr. Speaker. If you go to page 28 of the Prime Minister's address, community-based tourism. We came to this house, we debated the community-based tourism bill, and I know that an agency is being organized, and very soon the people of St. Lucia can benefit from the community-based tourism initiative. On page 29, the Prime Minister spoke about the orange economy. And Mr. Speaker, he spoke about the enchanting physical beauty of our country and the creativity of our people. And he spoke about carnival and other aspects of the orange economy. What did we find? In August, Mr. Speaker, look at how we have worked with the artists and the people of St. Lucia, and look at what happened to the celebration of emancipation, Mr. Speaker. So it's a whole new kind of governance we are looking at. And this is why I'm confident, because when you look at the Prime Minister's address in April, on April 26, and you go through what has happened in the economy and what has happened in the country, you can see there is progress. The infrastructure aspects, the Library Market and Square project, this is ongoing, there is progress there. Expanding agricultural output, the reemergence of bananas. We saw what happened with that. We have some difficulties and some challenges because of freight and so on in England, but you saw the expansion in the Trinidad market, and that is on page 31. We can go on and on and on. So this is why I'm confident, Mr. Speaker. When you have confiance, nous venons ici à prêter l'argent pour budget. Tous ces projets, t'es à budget. Depuis avant, Premier ministre là parler en chaque bagay qui a fait en économie. Et là, vous regardez speech Premier ministre là, là vous tournez ces pages là, et vous regardez ça, Premier ministre là, t'es pour mettre Jean Saint-Licy, et vous regardez ça qu'ils a fait, ou quand ouais, c'est un Premier ministre avec un gouvernement qui sérieux. L'autre façade là, vous avez parlé, dit nous venons prêter l'argent. Premier ministre là qui était là avant, lui qui prêtait plus l'argent, et lui qui tenait plus parole vanta, qui a prêté l'argent, Jean-Pierre Saint-Licy, qui a mené cheval, Vin Saint-Licy, qui a galopé cheval avant, il a l'hôpital. C'est ça qui a fait avec l'argent Saint-Licy. Mais Premier ministre là venu ici, et nous avons prêté l'argent pour dépenser en laisser projet à nous mettre en budget. Et avec un chaque projet, ça là a commencé. Comme ça, en chaque confiance. I want to say to you, Mr. Speaker, that in health, there is a lot of expenditure which we must carry out in health. In other words, we've had a lot of debts coming out of COVID-19. You heard the Prime Minister, Mr. Speaker. And up to now, there are debts. In August of 2021, Mr. Speaker, when we came into government, we had outstanding commitments of $7.628 million arising as a result of COVID-19. We owed, and we still owe, many of the quarantine facilities. There are many suppliers of medical services, people who supply reagents, people who supply medicines and so on, and especially during the COVID-19 time, they supplied us with medicines and so on, and we still owe many of them. Mr. Speaker, people who provide services in dialysis and who provide services, other services, the Tapion Hospital or the private facilities, these are all very important partners in health. And Mr. Speaker, we inherited a lot of debt, and we have, the Prime Minister has made a commitment that we are going to see to it that we pay these debts. And it's important for these local businesses, for the health sector to continue to have confidence in the government and the Ministry of Health, so that when we ask them, when we ask for supplies and so on, that they have the confidence that we are going to pay. So we found a lot of these debts, and this loan will assist us to pay these debts. Mr. Speaker, I'm very happy with anytime I hear infrastructure, I think of the roads in Vieux-Fort North, and I'm very happy that this loan will assist, and I'm looking forward certainly to assistance in these matters. So, Mr. Speaker, I know it is not easy. Nous savons pas easy. Là, nous entrons au gouvernement, nous avons 10 gens pays cette ici, qui dernier gouvernement, pour l'argent nous, yo bail gens l'autre pays, combien millions. Autant de ministres, même Parlement Central Castries, ça dit, là, il commence à compter l'argent, dernier gouvernement a gaspillé. Il passait 200 millions de dollars. Et commence à compter. Comme ça, le gouvernement, ça, avec le Premier ministre, qui a pris temps nous, et nous avons pigé par là, pour assurer qu'il ne pas mettre cette mission en difficulté, et à même là, nous avons développé l'économie. So I support this motion, Mr. Speaker. I look forward to the benefits of this budget, and you saw the benefits already accruing to the people of St. Lucia, and we are going to continue to work diligently to ensure that we save the economy and we keep this country for the benefit of us all, according to the member for Soufrière. Thank you very much.